All right, let's see if this works this time, because, man, this has been a struggle to get these stream keys working together right. So I think I got everything situated, but everything didn't really update as far as thumbnails, descriptions, all that good stuff. So it does kind of suck. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to look at that after, but welcome to the first and in progress episode of the Nerds Never Sleep Caffeinated Collector. And this is essentially going to just be a replacement for what is normally a weekly segment that I do highlighting figures. What is up, JT? Man, glad to see you in here. This has been a struggle to get this set up today, man. I've had a lot of errors, a lot of stream errors. So hopefully things get moving a little bit easier as we go. But again, progress, not perfection. I'm going to be slowly getting into the swing of things here, and hopefully I have everything set up the way I want, but we are going to have to kind of, again, play everything by ear. So we'll see how it all goes, man. But appreciate you being in here, man. I know nothing really updated, so I'm trying to actually get that figured out right now on the YouTube studio. And what's up, Ant? How we doing, man? Good seeing you. So I just have to kind of get my title and everything else like that situated, because yeah, it didn't update. So hopefully I can kind of get it situated midstream right now while we're working on things. But obviously, because a title and stuff would help. So hopefully everyone's doing good today. And again, this is going to be kind of an in-progress thing. We're going to kind of play things by ear and see what goes on. But the usual point of what used to be known as the Weekly Roundup segment was I kind of was here with you guys, and I would show you all, again, the statues, figures, and collectibles that I had on the channel in previous weeks, where I use YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikToks, photo galleries on things like Twitter and stuff like that, and just talk about all the figures, give you guys kind of some teases as to what to expect in the upcoming weeks, and talk about some, random topics throughout the course of the video. Well, doing that kind of got boring, and I got tired of recording the videos and editing the videos and cutting the videos and doing just all this monotonous work. And couple people that come into my game streams decided to suggest, hey, why don't you just do a figure stream? So that's what we're going to be doing from now on. So welcome again to those of you guys that are here, and those of you guys who are going to be checking it out later on. Hopefully I can entertain people a little bit. So we're gonna cross our fingers, and again, things are going to evolve as this does continue on, and we're gonna get some feedback, and we're gonna get some new ideas, and we're gonna kind of play around with them all. So it'll be fun, and hopefully, again, people enjoy this a little bit more than the usual thing I've been doing, which is just creating a video and kind of boring people with it, I guess. So the one thing I did forget to do, which is my bad, was I forgot to actually get up and get my coffee before I started the stream, because I had so many issues with starting the stream. So I am not getting my break stream here, my stream break icon up right now, which I'm trying to activate. So again, it's progress, not perfection. But for those of you who always ask during my videos about what is going on up here above me, you can see a little bit better because I have a nicer camera as to what's going on here above me. So obviously the stuff behind me, there's a lot of Kotobukiya stuff. There's a lot of Hatsune Miku stuff. But up top, I've got a lot more of my expensive pieces. No, they're not expensive to some, but to me, they're my expensive pieces. all my sideshow collectibles like J. Scott Campbell stuff, all the Spider-Man stuff going up on this side here, and then we kind of bleed into the fairy tale fantasy stuff over here. So pretty cool. Again, I'm going to eventually make it to where the camera is going to be able to pop out and rotate around the room with me. So, you know, we're going to get some more stuff. I know, JT, I know you're in the chat. You're always asking for for that stuff, man. Yeah, we can't do that yet, you know, but it is something I'm working on. I have to get the proper setup and rig where I can actually move the camera around, but it's in progress. Is my vocals okay? Is the voice volume too high, too low? I know I have a little bit of a delay here, but volumes are okay. All right. Yeah, I had it set. It was a little too high, and I had to bring it down a little bit. So again, as I get my mic stands and all that stuff going around in here, we'll have things set up a little bit better. But I wanted to make sure I could get this started because I know, especially you, JT, you've been asking about it. So we're gonna get the stream going, and we're gonna get things situated, and hopefully it just goes all right. But yeah, we're kind of, and again, in a test phase, so to speak, today. And, you know, so far I think it's all right. We're going all right. And, you know, we're just kind of gonna talk about a couple of topics today, you know, and see where things go. But uh-oh, give me 1 second. I think we got a little bit of a problem here. Are we having a connection problem here, guys? I'm not seeing any problems on my end, but I'm getting a little bit of a glitch here. So you're still good with me, right? So now what I normally do. All right, cool. I was getting some really weird errors over here, but like I said, I'm using a new streaming software, and I'll tell you right now, it is a heck of a lot more user-friendly than using OBS. Shout out to Meld Studio. I found this program, and it has been a godsend to a boomer-ass dude like me who doesn't really know much about streaming. I'm just used to clicking the button on the controller and going live. So it's pretty cool to have something that's a lot more user-friendly. So we're going to get into things first, and I'm going to go and I'm going to show the figures. So fingers crossed that I got this situated the way I need. Because, again, this is a work in progress. This is a very rough episode, and we're going to go with it. So, what I always do in this roundup segment is I bring you through all the figures that I highlighted over the past week. And we kind of, since it's a live stream, can have a little bit of a chat about them if we want to, things like that. And this week, which was several weeks ago, was my best of 2025 videos. So, now what I did, and I cheated a little bit because I went by just the YouTube analytics. Didn't go by TikTok or anything else. If I did, some of these figures might have skewed a little differently. And I went by the most views each figure got for each segment that I do. So, obviously, if you guys know the channel, I do Miku Monday, My Hero Monday, Twin Tuesday, where I highlight ReZero stuff, Waifu Wednesday, where it's kind of any kind of waifu-centric figure is up for grabs. Thursdays, I do That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. And Fridays is another kind of random figure for Figure Friday. Saturdays, if I do one, it kind of rotates between Demon Slayers for Slayer Saturday, Sword Art for Sword Art Saturday, or something else like Schoolgirl Saturday, where it has a little bit more playroom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start things off by bringing up the most viewed Miku of 2025. Fingers crossed this actually works, which is, of course, the Tokyo cartoony Miku. And this one is insanely popular whenever I bring this one out. And, you know, it's one of those ones that I get asked about constantly, to where I got it, where, you know, how much she cost, all these other good things. And it is a really fun figure. Now, it's a line made, of course, in the very, very hyper deformed style. And I've gotten people complaining at me about the way I call it deformed. It's what they are. They're very stylistic, very deformed, very unique looking figures. And I did slow the video down so people can actually get a better look at it. This, of course, is from my short form videos. And, you know, obviously you can see here in the video, she's got a Rin with her. So little bit of backstory with these lines. It's a very, very small run line. They only did a very, very limited variety. We got Vocaloids. We got Yoko from Gurren Lagann, which is a very, very odd one to have. And then other than that, I don't think we really got many else besides that. So we got Miku, we got Rin, we got Len, and then we got a Sakura Miku, and then we got Yoko. And other than that, I don't know if there's actually any other ones that have come around. And it's kind of a shame because they are very, very, very popular figures. Like I said, at least on my channel. So I always recommend, if you can get your hands on one, to check them out, because they're a very kind of underrated and underappreciated figure. But I tell you, anytime I share it on the channel, it gets thousands to tens of thousands of views. Tons of people asking me where to get it. And, you know, she's several years old now. So while they haven't quite skyrocketed in price the way a lot of other anime figures can go, it's actually pretty affordable still. So I definitely recommend these if you're looking for something very, very unique and a little bit different, and that is still a licensed figure. They're very, very cool, like I said, and they definitely have a uniqueness to them that a lot of Miku figures, you know, kind of don't. So I love them. I adore them. I think they are some of the coolest freaking Mikus. So I love it. Let's see, someone just messaged me and said that my comments were turned off. So double check on that. Okay. And someone said I was muted, so dude, one of my buddies is at work and he texted me and he said, "You're muted." I just had to double check. No, I'm not muted. I hate when people do that. Oh, you got me on a live stream telling me I was muted, bro. I hate you. But all in all, like I said, these are super cute. And now this is going to be another segment that we're going to evolve over the course of these streams. So bear with me. I know right now I have the video kind of brought up. Well, actually it's on this side of the screen and I'm showing off the figure here. But what this empty space down here is for, and I'm just waiting for it to arrive, we're going to have a secondary camera down below. And that's going to kind of split screen. And we're going to actually have a live camera right here where I can show the figure off a little bit closer for you guys and actually have a little bit of a dual view of the figures. So something else to kind of look forward to as these streams continue. But again, today is just, this has been long overdue and I wanted to get to it. So that's it for the favorite and most viewed Miku of the week. Now, I always do either a Miku Monday or a My Hero Monday for the week. And you guys know me, you know I adore My Hero Academia. I mean, I'm rocking the Shigaraki jersey, of course. Love these things. Get them from Box Lunch. They're amazing. Now, I rotate. So, obviously, I had to do a best of each. So, for the best of, or the most viewed, My Hero Academia short that we had this week was, surprisingly, the man himself, Aizawa, aka Eraserhead. I did not expect this one to have the most views on YouTube. Now, again, if I took TikTok and Insta into consideration as well, things might have went a little bit differently. I think TikTok typically gears more towards the togas that I post, and Instagram technically usually leans more towards things like Uravity and stuff like that. So there's definitely a different audience for everyone. But this is actually an insanely old Aizawa piece. And it's one of the few that I have. I only have two. So he is from the Amazing Heroes line, which is obviously where they stopped making the figures standard, just kind of up and down, like in a boring, just upright pose, and gave them a little bit more of a dynamic look. And that's where I really started to change the way I bought prize figures, because originally it was just, I love this character, I like this character, I'm going to buy every figure. And now I kind of look at them and go, you know, that pose is kind of boring. I think I'm going to skip it. So there are a lot of the early stage prize figures from Banpresto especially, where these characters just came out and they're just flat up and down. This was the first Eraserhead. And man, having him in an elevated pose, in kind of an action pose, holding his binds, like very, very cool. And that stood out to me a lot as I was collecting these early on. You know, and Aizawa, he has grown on people. JT, I got to admit, I do like the teachers, but this isn't even about me. This is actually, again, he was the most viewed on the channel. All of 2025, he got the most views. So I'm not the only one who loves Aizawa. There are a lot of other people who love him. And, I can't really hate him for it. And of course, here in this video, I did actually add kind of his, what do you want to call him? His surrogate student, I guess, maybe you want to call him. With of course, oh God, I just brain farted what I was going to say now. That's the problem with going live. Shinso. So that is actually from a different studio line. That is actually from the Ichiban Kuji line. But the way he's elevated up, I think they fit together really, really cool. So you guys probably know who Shinso is. Obviously, he has the little manipulation kind of ability, mind control ability, where he can, the minute he hears you speak, he can kind of control you. So he showed up and kind of went away throughout the series, which is why I don't really show him very much. He kind of does the same thing he did in the series. He shows up on the channel once in a while and disappears here and there. So people ask me to bring him back. So maybe in the weeks to come, we'll have a Shinso My Hero Monday. But I got some other cool stuff lined up, obviously. But being one of the first Aizawa figures, This thing is pretty freaking cool. And the fact that he still holds up, I love it. Again, my only problem with him is the bane of my existence, the bane of most anime collector existences, I think, and it's that black plain base. Hate those things. I think they are god awful. But when you're going with cheap figures, I guess you're gonna get a cheap base. That's kind of the way I put it. I know there are some collectors that actually have found clear substitutes and things like that, so I might have to look into those myself. But all in all, I think if you're looking for a cool Aizawa and you don't want to break the bank, obviously his first one is one of the best. They do have a newer Amazing Heroes one, and I think he's in more like a like more a pose like Shinso is, where he has like the legs apart and he's kind of holding his straps a little bit. But I think having the one is, elevated looks a lot cooler. Lame bases get a 3D printer. I thought about getting a 3D printer to do exactly that and redo some of these bases, but man, those things are expensive, and that's just something else, man. That's something I don't want to even deal with, like downloading all the files or 3D scanning everything and replicating them. Something that's way out of my range of patience, and especially just buying figures on my own is expensive enough, let alone trying to buy all the stuff to print them. Yeah, it's something that maybe in the future, like down the line, I could pull, but not really anything right now. But it is definitely a good idea. I have talked to some people who have 3D printers, and they've offered to 3D print me custom bases and stuff like that. Foam bases, there is a God, I forget his name, but I can't pronounce it. There's actually a creator I follow on like Instagram, and he does that. He literally takes these basic ass prize figures and he just throws down a bunch of foam board and he just cuts it all out himself and paints it and has these massive crazy bases for him. So something I've been looking into doing, or just making custom kind of things to plug the bases into. Definitely something I've been looking at entertaining, obviously, but we'll see, again, how things can go. But I think it's a cool idea. It's definitely a cool idea, especially if you're not afraid about breaking them. It's always my thing, is I'm afraid I might screw something up or break something, and then I gotta buy another figure, or I gotta buy another figure for the base. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's from Japan. Yep, yep. I forget the guy's name, but dude, I'll have to pull. I'll pull him up eventually. Let me see if I can find him on my phone, and that way I can pull him up on my like Insta without being bombarded with like thoughts and stuff like that. But yeah, he's really cool, man. That guy is talented as hell. Like just being able to freehand all that, very, very cool. But give me 1 second. I have to step away. Um, and I will be back in 1 second. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna, you know what? We're gonna bring Miku back real quick while I'm AFK. Because I did forget I have something in the other room I have to grab. So I'll be right back. All right. So I had to. Yeah, I know. I had to get my coffee. I totally forgot my coffee. I'm like, wait a minute, that's kind of my whole thing, man. I needed this, so I had to grab my coffee. Can't really be caffeinated without it. But yeah, I screwed up. That was my bad. I should have had this ready to go, but unfortunately, the stream just it wasn't starting properly, so I needed to kind of get it and get out ahead of it. But actually, speaking of caffeine, I did actually get something in the mail, and I haven't opened it yet, but I have this here from Dubby Energy. I did get a collab package from them to check out some of their stuff and see if I like it. And then I'm going to have codes and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm going to be making a little video about that. Older men need help from caffeine, man. No, everyone needs help from caffeine. Like, not just older men. No, I've been caffeinating up since I was a teenager. Like, this ain't nothing about being young or old. It's it's like lifeblood, man. Keeps you young. Caffeine keeps you young. That is the biggest thing. It is a godsend. Always got jokes. Always got to have the jokes, man. Catching me like that live, man. Trying to embarrass me. But now, I love caffeine. I can't go days without it. I tried, but yeah, it also helps you stay awake, man. It helps you stay up, helps you game, helps you focus. It's all that good stuff. But I did get some other cool stuff too. Before I get into the Tuesday figure, I wanna do something real quick and show this off because I do have a good camera. I got me some. Oh, look at that! I could do it with this camera, and it looks so much better than by doing it on my PlayStation camera. Got the Dan Master Live stuff. So psyched. Even though I was very terrified of running into this character, he's actually pretty damn cool. The Evil Eye, aka Gigi. And I did actually pick up, of course, the Momo. If you guys saw my video about Unsettled Geeks, I did pick her up at the shop recently. So very excited. And, there's a couple other things I picked up, but I don't want to spoil my haul video too much. But yeah, we got some good stuff. Got some really good stuff to do for this year. So very, very excited with all the crazy figures I can unbox and show off to everybody. So very, very, very excited for a lot of it. So I think what we'll get into now, of course, is going to be the Tuesday portion. So now for Tuesdays, I always do what I call Twin Tuesday, and that is going to the ladies of ReZero because, well, can't really highlight the dudes from ReZero because there's literally only like 3 figures of any of the male characters from ReZero. So my boy Subaru kind of gets the crap end of the stick, of course, for being the main character. He doesn't really get many figures. And the one cool one that he does have, I've gotten 2 of, and they both had such disgusting errors and defects in them that I could not keep them. So there is one really cool one, but I don't want to even try for a round 3 with it. It's actually a figure of Subaru and Rem on the ground dragon riding it. And man, I think it's got some quality control issues, man. Holy crap. So If anyone knows anyone who's got one that's in good condition and isn't all defective, let me know because I'm definitely interested. Of course, everyone's a Rem fan, JT. Everyone's a Rem fan. And of course, for Twin Tuesday, Rem, what do you think was the most viewed of 2025? Of course, Rem is Best Girl, with one that I didn't really expect people to really like as much as they did. And this is I believe it's called the Kodorisobi Rem, aka the Penguin Hoodie Rem. Now, this line, for a while, only had two pieces. It was Rem and Ram, or Ram. And more recently, they actually added Amelia to it. Now, if you notice here in the video, funny enough, I never knew what they were for. There's a little kind of like ice bundle here by her foot. And there's also a little sign you can stick into it that has a speech bubble, so you can like tape little things to it. I never actually realized it until I did the Amelia, that the little ice blocks are made to be pen holders or pencil holders. So it's definitely something different and something a little unique to add to your figure, especially seeing as how I thought the little ice blocks were just there to take away from the very basic plain base. But I always give any credit for anything that does make a plain base stand out, whether it's just a little block or something like that. I don't care. It adds to the effects. It makes things a little bit nicer. And with these in particular, I am a sucker for any kind of figure that has the girls in like a slouchy or a hoodie or anything that is, you know, something a little bit out of the norm. You know, for example, the ReZero, or not the ReZero, the Reincarnated as a Slime ones, we had the slouchy versions of Shion and Shizu, where they were wearing Veldora and Ranga hoodies. And those were really, really cool. So anything that kind of gives you a little bit more flair and adds a little bit more options to your display, I always say that I'm all for it, because rather than having all your characters in just the same look and the same outfit all the time, it's really, really cool. I like it. And these seem to be fan favorites when I post it. Obviously, Rem took it away this year. She had tens of thousands of views, and, you know, it caught me by surprise, because in previous years when I posted her, she was actually flagged for adult content because the slouchy is so short. So shout out to YouTube not flagging her this year. maybe they'll start getting their censorship down a little bit better this year, but I don't know. I do really, really love this one. I was looking to see if I actually had the other ones in this room, and I don't. They're actually upstairs in the other room. So wanted to show two of the other ones off if I could, but obviously, if you want to see Ram and Amelia, I've highlighted them several times here on the channel, so they are in the shorts area. You can type Ram, you can type Amelia, and they'll show up. But they're a very, very cool set, and I do recommend it. Only thing, again, as we just said earlier with bases, is I wish they would have had bases that would have let them connect together. I say that about all of them, but, you know, it just would be cool if you could have connectable bases. And I think that would be one more thing. Even if they are just plain bases, make it so we can connect them together a little bit. You know, make them a little bit more fun to kind of display together. But a minor gripe. Again, prize figures, you can't really complain too much, I guess, because it is, you know, obviously a lower end figure. So, but that's Rem, and that was the Twin Tuesday favorite, obviously. So pretty cool. I'm glad my little stream deck here. I did invest in a stream deck, and that has been helping me out immensely to just bring stuff up. So very, very cool. Definitely recommend getting one to everybody because it is cool. But going in there, I'm going to try to go and speed through a couple of these a little bit more now. We're going to go into Waifu Wednesday. So now again, this is a time where I grab literally any random character that is female, of course, and post her. She could be an anime character. She could be a Marvel character, a DC character. I've even done things like Witchblade and stuff like that. So it's basically, waifu is an all-encompassing freaking word here on the channel. It's any hot female character. I don't care. It can be anything. Doesn't have to be just anime. So we kind of have a huge variety. But the most viewed waifu of 2025 was I from Oshinoko. Now, this is one of the basic prize figures. It's actually one of the first prize figures that released for Oshinoko. And of course, it is the girl Ai Hoshino. And it is the Taito Corful figure. And I still think to this day, she's one of the better looking prize figures that we've had out of the series so far. She is absolutely adorable, and I love it. Actually gave her something a little bit more impactful than a plain just circular base. You know, having the sparkly star with her name on it is really, really cool. Dude, I almost spit coffee out my nose when you said that. Ouch. R.I.P. Yeah. JT said, yeah, I'm a simp for that dead waifu. Yeah, you know, damn. You know, I went into that show completely blind, and I was just like gut punched by it. I think the entire show, the entire vibe of it, and the whole feeling, you didn't, unless you read the manga, you really had no idea how dark things were going to get in this show until you actually sat and watched it. Because like every advertisement, all the videos, everything's like they're dancing, they're happy, it's like nothing really gives you that hint that this is going to get dark. And it does. And I actually really like the series for that. I liked the constant guessing of like what is going to happen, like who is the killer, who is all this. It was really cool because it blended a lot of different genres together with essentially a revenge and murder mystery stories, which I really, really liked. So obviously the idols are pushed forward to the front of, you know, everything, and it is about also the struggles of what these idol groups kind of go through. So it's very, very cool. But then at the same time, we also had another side of it where we're getting into the acting aspects of things. So we get into kind of like the deeper dives into the acting industry and things like that. So it has so many moving parts in the series that it does keep you invested. And I really do like it. I think it was a show that I was kind of like, you know, I might like, and I ended up loving it. And I read ahead in the manga. I finished the manga. I know how it's going to end. And, you know, I'm kind of happy with how it ended. But I'm a sucker for just a series having an ending and not overstaying its welcome. So definitely recommend Oshinoko to people. If you haven't seen it yet or you haven't read it yet, whether you're an anime viewer or you're a manga reader, it is definitely something that will have you kind of the gears going in your head a little bit, but also entertain the crap out of you. So it does both. It entertains you and it makes you think. And if you're watching, of course, the animated version, you're going to get a lot of catchy ass tunes. So great stuff. But this in general, again, I think the thing I like about this one, the lesson of all is no dating when you're famous. You'll likely be stabbed dead. Ouch, man. I mean, you know, I guess that is a lesson to learn. Like, I mean, I guess it's a lesson in general. Like, not even when you're famous, just you have to be careful who you date. I mean, it's true, but especially with fame, absolutely. God, we see it all over the freaking internet everywhere. All the dating internet drama. celebrities, streamers, you name it, there's drama. And that is one thing about the show, that it brings a lot of that twisted, like, obsessiveness into the story, and it is really cool. But it also brings the kind of the burden of just having that hell-bent, like, revenge, that's your only thing that you, and how that can destroy you, in Aqua's position, so it's very, very cool. It's a cool story. But like I always tell people with this eyes, people always ask me, like, oh, why don't you, show off some other eyes? I do have some other eyes, but this one actually is one of my favorites. And I do have, I'm looking over at the stack right now. 1, 2, 3. 3 other eyes that I still have to unbox, which are going to be prize figure face-off episodes. So we do have a bunch more eyes to check out going forward. But all in all, I still think the Corful one is one of the better ones, just because of the face, the facial expression, and the different playful pose, as opposed to what most of them have, which is just her standard pose with the, the hands out and the big smiley face. But all in all, I think with most eyes, you can't really go wrong. Just like with most Marines, they don't really make a bad one. So, but the Corful one is insanely cheap. Oh, well, Prime 1s, yeah, Prime 1s are going to be the best either way, because Prime 1s are going to be $1,000, I had a few Prime 1s on pre-order before, and I stopped just because their shipping charges, it was like, here's your $1,400 statue, and here's your $900 shipping charge. It's like, I don't think I'm gonna do that. So I just kind of bounced out of that. I decided not to do it, but they make some really amazing stuff. I just could never bring myself to dump that money. I just can't. Like, I even stopped, like up here, all the sideshow stuff. I had to stop a lot of that because it's just getting insane. And that'll be a topic for next week I want to talk about. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get to that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Best of 2025 for Reincarnated Thursday. Surprisingly, no, maybe not surprisingly, it wasn't Lady Malim who gets flagged all the time. It wasn't Shion. It wasn't Shizu. It wasn't even my boy Rimuru. It was Veldora. Of course, the Dragon Daddy got the most views. And it always makes me laugh with the double standard of content and censorship on these different platforms, to where I could post shirtless, muscly, rippling Veldora, but I can get an adult content flag on TikTok for posting a rem that has cleavage. So it's definitely an interesting kind of double standard we have here. And, Veldora is a perfect example of that character. A lot of people asked me who the character was. They were liking the video. So it was very, very entertaining. To see people be like, oh, who's this character? What's he from? I'm like, man, you saw a hot, muscly dude and came to the channel. Like, cool, I'm doing something right, So I like to throw in something for the ladies, obviously on the channel, and anyone else who, husbandos are your thing, because you know what? The way I look at it is we are all visual creatures. We like to look at things that are appealing. We all like our superhero dudes to be buff and jacked. We like our anime characters to be, appealing, things like that. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. So I like to kind of give a little bit to both. We see a lot of Veldora here on the channel because obviously he is insanely popular. And we get a lot of Toto actually from JJK because he is insanely popular as well. Son about the shirtless dudes YouTube really, really likes. But it's fun. It's fun. And I love actually Veldora as the character too. I think this one is actually not even my favorite Veldora. I think my favorite one, let's see if I can grab him, is... Oh, I did grab him. He's right here. Is this one right here. The break time Veldora. He's going to get caught in the light. That sucks. But the break time Veldora is actually my favorite Veldora I have so far, because I love the way that you can literally take his arm off and he can kind of have his arm up on Rimuru like he's broing out with him. I absolutely love it. And, he's still rocking the same outfit and the same look, But Veldora is a very cool character. Veldora's nickname? What do you mean? Like his nickname? Like to who? Like, who are you going by? Because I know he's the Storm Dragon, but what are you getting at with his nickname? Because I know he has the Otaku Dragon, Weeboo Dragon. So I've never heard him called that before. I've seen him called Daddy Dragon before. I've never heard him called Otaku Dragon or Weeboo Dragon. But yeah, he does have an obsession with manga. And it's funny because when we see the anime episodes where he's kind of chilling in the back and he's reading, we always try to zoom in to see if it's actual manga volumes. And one of them, I think we zoomed in and it looked like he was reading Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, but we couldn't really be sure. But it's very funny. I love how he literally is the otaku. He's obsessed with manga. He'll sit there and they'll be having a meeting and dude's just laying there in the background reading manga to himself. Yep, leave me alone. I'm just, yep, cool. I love it. I think his character is so wild and he is so insanely powerful. It's like with everything in Reincarnated Slime, the power scaling in that show just consistently just keeps getting bigger. And it's bro, when does it end? And Rimuru just keeps getting all these, he's collecting all these super powerful freaking beings underneath his command, like they're just they're little toys. He's like, okay, a dragon, I want you. Hey, a demon lord, I'm gonna take you. And hey, look, the orcs, oh yeah, hey, we're gonna take you too. Oh yeah, dragon men, yep, you're coming with me. Rimmer's just grabbing at them like they're toys, man. It's great, I love it. Yeah, where he fought Malim was great. I love it. That's why I actually put Malim in this video here. I had to put her in it at the end because it's funny, if I make her a short by herself, she gets flagged. But if I put her in someone else's short, I sneak her in there, it goes through just fine. But yeah, their fight is great where they're using video game moves and other anime moves on each other. It's so cool. And like I said, their dynamic is really, really fun. Yes, there's the Hadouken and the Kamehameha. It was so good. I absolutely adore him. And I was actually surprised. I was surprised that he got more views than all of the Rimurus that I highlight on the channel, because Rimuru always gets huge engagement. I think if I had accounted for the TikTok views too, which I didn't, I think Rimuru would have pulled out ahead. But all in all, I mean, I'm happy with Veldora being the most viewed slime figure this year, or last year, because he's one of my fan favorite of the male characters. I love Veldora because he just like you said, he's like the weeb otaku freaking overpowered, just kind of oblivious dude. Like, hey, what are we doing right now? They're literally in the meeting. They're making a plan, and Veldora is just like zoned out, reading, laughing to himself in the corner. Like a special kid. He's like, reading in the background. Who's the persons that scare? Who were the ones that scare him the most? Crap. It's been a while. Oh my god. I always I always thought Malim he was afraid of. Or was he just really combative with her? So I gotta rewatch. I gotta rewatch again because season 4 is coming this year. But yeah, it's he's had Malim and it wasn't Hinata. Um, who the heck else was it? Oh my god, I'm forgetting. I actually forget. I thought it was Malim and someone else. Oh, Velgrind is the other one, right? Well, Rimuru obvious. I thought you meant like tertiary characters. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. Well, Rimuru is obvious. Like he literally becomes Rimuru's servant. Yeah, that's the other sister. Yeah. Yeah, because there's Vel and Val, right? Yeah, essentially that's what. Yeah, that's what me and Gigi call them. We call them Vel and Val. Um, is she the one who's voiced by Amelie? I remember one of the Dragon sisters. Um, she voices. She does Velzard. That's right. So yeah, she voices Velzard, one of the other dragons. Yeah, one of the dragons. But yeah, Amelie is awesome. I love her. She's that's wife material right there. um, but yeah, having Veldora be the most viewed is pretty awesome. I think it's cool because again, it shows how many people like him. Again, even if they don't know what he's from, they just like I said they see they see the sexy shirtless man and they're like ooh. And then, they don't really care. They're not going to care about his personality. They just care that he's a buff, shirtless dude. And they like him. So, it's very, very cool. I don't think I have any shirtless Rimurus. I'm actually looking now to see. Like, do I have shirtless Rimurus? I do have the Raphael versions where he's in, like, the sheet, essentially. Why is he scared of Rimuru? Well, I mean, Rimuru is, I mean, Rimuru is essentially God tier. He's literally the one who broke his bonds. I mean, he can literally put him back in the prison. Um, much like Hinata did. Wait, was it Hinata that did it? Or was it, what's her face? The time traveler. I believe it was the time traveler who did it, not actually Hinata. But yeah, he knows how strong Rimuru essentially is and can become. Well, let's go let's go with the obscure thing, and let's go to Figure Friday. Try to get some more of these figures out of the way. so we could have some more kind of like socializing time really quick. But um, as I said, for Figure Friday, what I usually do is I just grab a random figure off my shelves or a statue off the shelves, and we show those off. And the one that surprisingly got the most views last year was not an anime character, it was Batman. Yes, Arkham Batman from Arkham City. Well, yeah, Veldoro's always the shield for Rimmer. He was always kind of that buffer, like you can't attack because the Storm Dragon is protecting that town. Yeah. But but yeah, this one surprised me to get the most views out of all the pieces that I did for Figure Fridays. Arkham City Batman, and this is just an old ass piece made by one of my favorite companies, Kotobukiya, for the Arkham City Collector's Edition. Now, this is a piece that I've had in the collection, obviously, since Arkham City came out. And, I usually put him right back here on this shelf. I don't have my zoom button yet. I know I got to get that. But this is actually where Wonder Woman is. I actually have Batman usually. And we've got Poison Ivy, we've got Batgirl, we've got Catwoman, we've got Batwoman. And it's all Kotobukiya, so he kind of like crouches down there in between all of them. So it's pretty cool. He fits right in beautifully with all of them. And, I actually was very impressed by this piece when I got the collector's edition because back then, actual statue companies would get, the opportunity to make the bonuses for these games. And they weren't half-assed. They were done very, very well. I mean, this is right on par with a lot of other Kotobukiya pieces. I mean, the face is a little bit but other than that, I mean, the suit and everything else is really well sculpted. Everything looks amazing. And while it does have a plain black base, it has, the Arkham logo kind of emblazoned on it. So it adds a little bit of color to it. It's very, very cool. And, I've had people ask where they can buy it. And again, the only way you got this was to buy the collector's edition of the game, no matter which console you had. And, it was surprising for me because Marvel and DC stuff goes a little hit or miss on the channel. Sometimes it does really, really good. Like my Avengers weeks usually do really, really good. But sometimes it's very, very touch and go. And, like this Arkham Batman, for example, he had the most views on the channel last year. But when I posted the best of, he actually barely even cracked a couple hundred views. So, it's definitely it's hit or miss on my channel, kind of where the algorithm is going and what people are going to look at. But he's a very, very cool piece again, and it's made by Kotobukiya, who obviously most of my stuff behind me is Kotobukiya, so I'm a huge fan of theirs. But even their stuff has started to kind of price me out a little bit to where I don't buy them anymore when they first come out. I don't pre-order them anymore. Same thing with Iron Studios. We're going to talk about that in another segment as well. But, I love it. And it's one of the few Batmans I own. I don't own a lot of Batmans. I have the Kotobukiya Batmans behind me and the Justice League Batman behind me and the Rebirth Batman, but they're all Kotobukiya. So it's kind of a trend. It's definitely a trend we notice here on the channel is I have a lot of Kotobukiya stuff, but that's kind of what opened the floodgates for collecting to me, which was the Mikus back here. Those are my first Mikus I bought. And then Kotobukiya stuff. It's kind of what opened that floodgate to wanting to collect more. So very, very cool. If you can get your hands on an Arkham City Collector Edition, I don't know. They're pretty expensive to get them sealed, but you could probably buy the figure from somebody pretty cheap. So not a very big figure. kind of small, but definitely recommend it. And if not, grab yourself one of the other more affordable Kotobukiya pieces. But even like McFarlane stuff, they got a lot of really, really awesome Batmans out there. So, it's not like there's something that's hard to find, but definitely a cool piece and a surprise to me as far as the most viewed figure Friday. So, was not expecting that one. But speaking of things that surprise me and don't surprise me, the Saturday's most viewed was not a schoolgirl. It was not a Demon Slayer. It was, of course, a Sword Art Online figure, and it was not Kirito. It was the Extra Motions Asuna. Now, again, this is only on the YouTube side. If I was to take TikTok into consideration, which I'm going to do in next year's, Kirito's would have floored every figure. But here on YouTube, Asuna surprisingly did the best on the channel. And with one, honestly, I absolutely adore. I love the Extra Motions Asuna and Kirito, other than those freaking bases. The bases are god awful. They are the worst, ugliest things ever. Just like they went to the Dollar Tree and they got a plastic cup and they just put it upside down and they stuck the post in it and said, "There's your figure, guys. That's what we want." It literally looks like a goddamn sippy cup, and it does irritate me every time I show it, and I physically cringe at that base. But god damn, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous prize figure. And just all of the extra flares that we had, like the swipe motions that come around on her cloak and even that come off the other side of her, it just adds so much. And the fact that the post holding her up isn't in a very like obstructive kind of position. It's literally covered by her coattails essentially. So you barely can see the post, and they did make it clear, which is good. So it's an absolute banger of an Asuna. All the details in her sword, the costume, and the one I like about this is the face. The face is so freaking good. The way she looks aggressive. She looks like she's yelling, like she's in combat. She's ready to go. And, it just does it, man. It's one of the most dynamic Asunas I have, and it's her OG. It's her OG costume, and it just pops. The thing that people say is, it's a Gooner piece because of the way she's posed and she's got kind of her skirt. Okay, it's not really a piece that's like an upskirt piece. They actually did a very tasteful job with it. I mean, obviously you can see here in the video, the skirt isn't like lifting up or blowing up. It's actually done very, very well, very tastefully. It's not done too high, and I can appreciate that. I mean, I can appreciate a figure being Gooner material, but I can also appreciate when a figure is, What are his skills that nobody else has? Kirito has a lot of skills that nobody else has. He has, let's see, he has, dual wielding is his biggest one that nobody else has. And then he has what was it? Isn't it like, doesn't he have, like an elevated, is it elevated speed or is it elevated reaction or something like that? I forget what the stat is called. It's like his, I want to, maybe it's his dexterity, his speed or his dexterity, because I know he has that like insanely high as well. And then of course he has his sword skills that nobody else has, which, pertain to his dual blades and thing like that. I mean, and then he has even more if you go into alization and stuff like that. So he does. I mean, Kirito is the. I don't want to say he's the power fantasy uh kind of thing, but he definitely has that. He has the MMO power fantasy vibe, definitely. Like I said, if he is what I've said, yeah, dual blades. But then, like I said, once you get an alization and stuff, he actually has even more skills and perks that nobody else has got too. But I mean, back to Asuna here. This is a really cool one, and I did not know until the last time I posted her, which was at the beginning of the year here. She has gone up in price a lot. And I apologize to people that I've said is she's really cheap and affordable. I wonder if I can find her right here. Yeah, I mean she goes for like $50 to $80 right now. I'm looking at her right now online, and it's pretty unexpected. I didn't think she was going to be that expensive, but yeah, she goes for quite a bit, and for the duo of her and Kirito, people are selling it for like 120, 130. So it's pretty crazy. I didn't expect her to actually be that sought after. But the one I want personally, I want to get the color variants of these where they had Asuna in Kirito's colors, so she's in all black, and her sword has red effects going off it, and then the Kirito is in the Blood Knight colors of the white and red, and he has the other colors, the blue colors going off of him. So one I definitely want to look into. I wonder if I can pull that up. I'm going to try to pull it up if I can find one. She does have a black version. I just have to find it. Let's see if I can find the costume. Or maybe it might have just been Kirito's variant. I could have sworn I saw that she had an extra form as well. An extra one as well. But I could be wrong. Maybe it was just Kirito that had extras. Oh, right here. I could see it right here. Let's see if I can share it. I'm gonna try to screen share this. I'm not sure if I can, but we're gonna see if I can. If the picture will load. Of course, it's not gonna load. Let's see if I can open it. All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna try this real quick. I'm gonna see if this works. To remember which scene it was. All right. So this one right here, as you can see here, this is the variant Asuna of her in the Kirito black swordsman outfit. And it's just different. Obviously the costume's colored in Kirito's colors. I've only seen one before at a convention, so I don't really know how it does. But yeah, that was the Asuna. And I believe there was a Kirito one as well. I think his might have just been like a red base though. Yeah, see, okay, so his variant was actually a red base with red effects. So I don't really know. I've seen a white one too, but maybe that was a custom. But I know the Asuna had the black suit version, and then yeah, Kirito had one. It was, let's see if I can open this one up real quick. See if I can share this one. I'm gonna try again. Let's say hopefully this works good. Yeah, so this is the variant Kirito. I don't really know why they went with this one. I could have sworn it was a Asuna colors, but it could have been a different statue series. But see, he's got a red blue rose sword with red kind of tones going around him. And the thing I don't like about this one is it's got a red clear base, but it's got a clear white post. Like that just, I mean, I get it because if it was clear red, it would stand out. But I don't know. I feel like the different color post with the red base kind of looks like kind of tacky. And then he has like a blue tinted black blade and obviously the red blue rose. And his eyes are like yellowed, like they're glowing. So yeah, I don't really know much about that version, but that's the one someone sent me and they were like, hey, did you want this one? I'm like, I don't know. So, but that was, of course, obviously we're talking about Asuna here. So kind of went off on a tangent talking about the different variations there. But that was pretty much it for the best ofs as far as the daily, shorts that I post. And again, like I said, as this live segment kind of evolves, once I do, this empty screen below me right here is going to actually be a camera where we're going to have the figures right here in front of me and we're going to show them off live with over here the other video of the figure, so you'll be able to get two different viewpoints of the figure in case you guys want to see something a little bit more detailed. I can zoom in, I can show you stuff like that, but again, it's all a process here. I'm working on it, and I'm just happy that today's first episode went live without too many hitches. Okay, we had 30 minutes of hitches, but so it's pretty good. I'm happy with how things are going right now. Hopefully the turnouts, start cruising out. We might have to play with the time schedule a little bit, but we'll see what happens. So now, as far as the two others I have here to talk about, which is going to be the prize figure face-off figure, and then my favorite figure of 2025. So we're going to go ahead. For those of you who don't know, and again, watching this afterwards, I do a segment on the channel called Prize Figure Face Off, where I take two brand new boxed prize figures. Sometimes they're from the same set, sometimes they're from different sets. I unbox them both here on the channel, we put them both together, and I go head to head with them. I give you guys complete 360s of each figures, as detailed as I can get them with the cameras that I have. And then I go ahead and I give you guys my favorite pick. And then I ask for you guys to pick your favorite out, obviously at home. So segment is a little hit or miss, but hopefully it'll catch on as I get a little bit more consistent. So what I did with this one is I went with, again, the most viewed episode of Prize Figure Face Off, and I'm highlighting the winner of the Face Off. So this was obviously classic Luminasta Miku 15th anniversary version by Sega. And this one went up against an idol version of Miku, and it was kind of unanimous with people who even looked at it that classic Miku had to win. And of course, to me, myself, this Miku is absolutely phenomenal, as with about 99% of the Luminasta series figures from Sega. The only one I've gotten so far that I absolutely hated to the point where I returned it was the Deep Sea Girl Miku Luminasta. That one is atrocious, and it looked like a damn bootleg. I do not recommend it unless I just got a bad figure. But this itself is phenomenal. I love everything about this piece. When I unboxed her on Prize Figure Face Off, I was just like, no question. She's winning. She's winning. I already knew, because this thing was so much fun. Such a dynamic pose. And I love that it actually gave her something that a lot don't. It gave her stands to hold her hair. They're clear, and they're not really kind of in the way. They kind of go up and go outwards. So they're not really in the way of the piece, and they don't make it add more to the base. Because the way they're angled, they go up and they go out. So they're there to hold the twin tails. And they don't cause the base to expand. And I like that. They made a very minimalistic base. She's got a super insanely playful pose. I love how she has the mic stand. It's angled in her hand. all this was perfectly done. Great take on classic Miku. And I'm happy that her episode got the most views. I mean, and we had some episodes on the channel last year. I mean, I think I did 6 episodes, 5 or 6, where we did Miku, we did ReZero, we did Oshinoko, we did Jujutsu Kaisen, we had Gojo versus Gito, and we had obviously Miku face off it. So we definitely had a good variety, and I was happy that, Miku always performs very, very well on my channel. I was very happy that I got to show this one today because she is an absolutely beautiful prize figure, insanely cheap. I think you can get her right now for like $22. I mean, even on Amazon. So highly recommend her if you are looking for a classic Miku in a very, very dynamic pose. Definitely can't go wrong with it. I mean, obviously, you can go with your classic pose Mikus and stuff like that. But if you want something a little bit more dynamic, something a little bit more standout, a little more playful, a little more fun, this Miku right here, she's a fantastic one. I absolutely love her. And like I said, I'm happy that everybody else seemed to really enjoy that Miku as well. So that was the best of the prize figure face-offs. Now, the only thing I think I didn't do was I didn't do a tally of all the unboxings I did and go with a best of for unboxings. But I did kind of ball that all up into one thing when I went into my favorite piece of the year. And if you know how hyped I was for this thing, anyone who's been in any of my live streams, any of my weekly roundup videos, any of my unboxings, I have talked about this figure for so long, and it was a struggle to get my hands on it. And thankfully, a friend of mine, she went to Japan and sent me a DM and said, "Do you want this?" And I lost my mind. And she got it for me at Japanese retail price and sent it to me. And of course, my favorite piece of the year for 2025 that I checked out was, of course, the symbol of peace, the boy himself, Armored freaking All Might. Oh, God. I love everything about this Ichiban Kuji figure. It is an absolute freaking banger. It's part of the Master Lies Extra series, so he's very, very big. He is so freaking cool. And man, I am so happy I was able to get this. If you're looking for one now, because I don't think he ever actually came stateside. He was last prize in one of the Kujis, and I got pretty much every other figure that was in that Kuji stateside here. And I was just like, I gotta get him. Like, I was gonna pay $300 for it because that's what you pretty much have to pay to get him now. And like I said, I lucked out. I did buy one, and my shipment got lost. It just wasn't going anywhere. It stopped in a state and never went anywhere, and it was just stuck in limbo forever. I contacted the seller, and I was like, hey, we got to cancel this. And we canceled it. They got their money back, obviously, with their insurance, whatever. I got my money back. And I kind of just sat sad. All right, man. Hey, JT, it was good seeing you in today, man. Good seeing you. Like I said, went a little longer than I thought we were going to go. I thought this was going to be a quick 45-minute stream, but I appreciate you coming in and chatting, man. It's been fun. We'll be game streaming tomorrow, the usual times. And, obviously we're doing another one of these segments again next week. So make sure you pop in. It was good seeing you, man. Good seeing you. I appreciate you coming in. Get some sleep. But yeah, so I was lucky. Another creator I'm friends with, she was in Japan and she DM'd me and was like, I don't know if you're up right now. Yeah, the stream should go live for VOD afterwards. Yep. So I told her, you tell me how much this thing costs and how much it's going to cost to ship it to me. And she said, I'll hang on to it, get back to the States, and I'll ship it to you. And so she did, and I got it for way cheaper than I would have paid for it. And I was so happy. I waited a little bit longer, but this right here, this All Might, has become one of my favorite My Hero pieces. This thing is the GOAT of MHA pieces now for me. And I have done some amazing ones here on the channel. The giant Master Lies extra All Might where he's flexing, like he's got the back pose and he's flexing. I love that piece. It became one of my favorites, but this right here has just chef kiss. It's the best piece. So good. I absolutely adore it. And he is by far my favorite piece I've checked out in the last year. So, which, leads me to a little bit of previews for stuff too. I'm going to show off, speaking of Kujis, to show off what I showed off earlier in the stream here. To go with Momo, of course, and Gigi. I've got Master Lies, Okaroon, and obviously for those of you who do watch my game streams, the front runner for what I'm gonna probably be most excited for, which is probably gonna be my favorite thing I unbox this year in 2026, and this thing is heavy, is gonna probably be this bad boy right here. Denji and Beam, of course, another Japan last prize figure, of course. This thing, man, I'm so excited for this. I'm going to be unboxing this week. So make sure you guys come in to check that out. We're going to have that, but I don't know. Denji and Beam might give this All Might a run for its money. But hey, you know what? He was still my favorite of 2025 by far. Best piece that I've unboxed in God knows how long, man. That thing, like I said, it was a mission to get it, and I'm happy I did, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. It is upper echelon for Ichiban Kuji figures. It is so damn good. So that is the final thing for at least the best of 2025 figures. Like I said, I wanted to make this a little bit shorter than a weekly roundup, and because of chatting and talking and stuff like that, we've gone a little bit longer. So shout out to the few of you that were in here and we're kind of talking and keeping it going. Like I said, if we can talk nerdy stuff, man, I'll talk with it all day with people. So I'm here for it. But I do have a couple of little extras I'm going to show off real quick because I did start this week with showing off some figures, and due to some bad storms we had here, I wasn't able to keep up. So I'm going to just show them real quick in case you guys did miss them this week. I did do a Hatsune Miku Snow Miku, of course. This is the Skytown Snow Miku, and she was Miku Monday for this last week. That I didn't really get to do much with because, again, we got snow dumped on us several feet, and yeah, things got ugly as the week progressed. I had water coming in my house, so if you guys have been keeping up here on the channel, it's been a nightmare, but that's why I kind of had some snow girls here. And, for Twin Tuesday, I went with a Corful Puckrem because, of course, we had this hellish snowstorm and cold weather, so I decided to make a little bit of a theme. These two may actually come back this week, and we'll try again. But, I did post these on the channel, so if you guys want to take a longer look at them, they're there. I'm not going to take them down, but they may go back up again this week. I might do Miku Monday again this week with that Miku, and same thing with Rem, but we'll see what happens here. So that's it for all the figures that I highlighted for the best of segment. Obviously, this was a longer segment than I normally have because there were more figures. So we had 2 Mondays, we had a Tuesday, we had a Wednesday, we had a Thursday, we had a Friday, we had a Saturday. Then we also had the episodic, we had the favorite, and then we had 2 extras. So normally there's only going to be about 5 figures to talk about. And then we go in and we do some page updates. We're going to talk about stuff like that. So really quick though, before I do any kind of page updates, there are a couple of things I like topics. So I'm trying to pick topics to talk about each week as people are here. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about was, and I just want to touch on it really quick. I think we'll get more into it as the streams, go on these segments. But one of the things I wanted to mention was things about, we were talking about on streams, on my gaming streams, is the GameStop closures. And, it's been a rough 2026 for GameStop. Not for their CEO, apparently. But according to, the news, the GameStop CEO is set to get a $35 billion possible pay plan. And that's pretty wild considering you've closed so many of your stores this year. So you guys don't know, if you're living under a rock, GameStop closed, let's see if I can find it. I want to see the exact number. Let's see if I can find it. So we had here, I'm going to try to just share this real quick. Let's see if I can do this. So right here, January 2026, GameStop closed over 470 stores across 43 states in the U.S. alone. And then in 2024, that adds to the 590 stores they closed, right? So we had 50 stores in California closed, 44 in Texas. That's pretty wild. And this is right here. They're going to be a trend to reduce brick and mortar footprints, declining in-store sales, shifts towards digitals, and they literally went to mid-January, these things went. Now, it's pretty crazy to see that when you've got something like this, where GameStop board unveiled a new compensation plan for Ryan Cohen up to potentially $35 billion in stock options. But again, if you're tying things to stocks, is it really going to do anything if your GameStop stock tanks? I don't know. But it says, again, it's something similar to Elon Musk's Tesla plans. So it's not going to go through until, March or April, but he'll have no salary or guaranteed bonuses. And it's only going to hit those limits if the company's market hits certain numbers, right? So it's not going to be performance-based, or it's going to be performance-based. So he'll get no salary, bonuses, or time-based stocks. $35 billion target to receive the full award. He must increase their market value from $11 billion to $100 billion. And I'm sorry, dude, if I was him, I don't think I would take that deal. After we just closed all these GameStop stores, I just don't know if that's a deal, man. But his package is going to give him 171.5 million shares at $20 a share, right? So it's something pretty interesting to say here, because it's like, is that a good deal? I don't really know. It probably is a good deal for him, but you closed that many stores. And, it's funny because I talked with and I reached out to a few current GameStop managers and former ones that their stores got terminated at. And, I heard there's a lot deeper thing to the way or not even deeper, just a larger way to why they picked certain stores. So like in my area, for example, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe 6 stores within a 30-minute drive, maybe 20-minute drive from my house in different directions, right? I had every single store in that vicinity close except for one store. And honestly, it was probably the worst store in my vicinity. It's literally the one in the butthole of the city in a Walmart plaza where I've never seen more than like 3 people in it before. That GameStop is the one that stayed. The one closest to my house, where I always see people in it, people are always chit-chatting, talking with the employees, they love it there, gone. We had one in a dead mall that has like 2 stores in that mall, gone, which that's expected. And then we had one in one of our major malls here in Massachusetts at the Holyoke Mall. That one went away, which was a surprise. And then we also had another one in another one of the towns near me too. So all these different GameStops all closed all at the same time. And I asked a couple of people, and what I was told was the way they planned out how these stores all closed was due to rent. And I don't have this verified from a GameStop, corporate official. This is what I was told by employees and former managers that were losing their stores. One store, for example, told me that their rent starting in February was going to raise from $3,800 and some change to $7,000 a month. Now, if you're a game store in a declining physical media, obviously, declining, I say, and you're in that market, you have to double everything now so you can cover your rent. So is it more worth it for me to just go, well, close that store, save all my payroll, save all my overhead, ship that merch to a store that's going to be able to sell it and keep my rent the same? I'm going to do that. Another location, I talked to one of the supervisors there. They shared with me that their rent was going up from I think it was $4,300. I have it written down here. $4,380. So it was almost $4,400 a month. And it was going up to $7,650. So again, almost doubling our rents. Now, as someone who was going to start and open a retail space myself, that's where this channel name came from. Nerds Never Sleep was going to be my collectibles shop that I thankfully didn't do. Looking at things now, I want to be able to survive in that. If you're going to sit there and go, oh yeah, next month, guess what? Your rent's doubling. I wouldn't be able to do it either. So there's a part of me that goes, it is a shame, and it's a damn shame that we're losing so many GameStops, because I am a person who I am only going to buy physical games. When gaming goes completely digital, I don't know, I might have to adapt and I might have to do stuff, but guess what? I'm going to have a huge backlog sitting in those other rooms that I can go back to anytime. I think GameStop are what I call a necessary evil. I think just like previous retailers that we lost in their wars, it used to be Best Buy, Circuit City, Sam Goody, Suncoast, Media Play, Nobody Beats the Wiz. There were a whole bunch of these stores. And they were all always competing. And then you with Target and Walmart, we'll bundle those in there together. All these places used to compete. And competition is good for your industries, right? Fact of the matter, what happened was Best Buy started to undercut everybody. Oh, Circuit City's got an item on sale? Yeah. No, we'll beat it. And they would do that. So what it did was it made you always go to Best Buy. And eventually, Best Buy became the last man standing. And now what is Best Buy? Best Buy is a sad, piss poor excuse of what it used to be. And that's what happens when competition goes away. There is no more need to push. There is no need to innovate. There's no need to do anything in retail or in any other space. So that is kind of the same thing that's now happened with GameStop, to where GameStop has become kind of the only place to go and buy physical video games other than your mom and pop shops. They bought everybody else or took over everybody else. They bought FuncoLand. They bought EB Games. They bought Think Geek. They bought all these other places up. And it did raise their market share. But what it did was it also made it to where your GameStop stores were on every corner and they were competing with themselves. And what does that do for your physical stores? It causes them to fall apart. And then, it just kind of all goes from there. So the problem now is we've closed so many GameStops that now you have to go out of your way to get to one, which is going to cause a similar problem to having too many. So having too many GameStops makes them compete with each other. Well, now having barely any GameStops around and you have to drive out of your way to go to one now, it's going to make you just not go to one anymore. So I think in the end, it's going to hurt them with all these closures. I hope not. Because like I said, I'm a person who I like GameStop. I don't care. I'm going to say it. I love going into GameStop. I love going in there, seeing what they got for collectibles, seeing what they got for clearance stuff, seeing what deals they got. And people tell me all the time that I'm an idiot. Mom and pop shops are better. They're not. And I'm going to tell you that. There is one local video game store in a 40-minute vicinity to me that actually has decent prices. And I only found this out recently because people told me to go check it out. There are all these other places around me, these retro game stores, these local game stores, and I go into them and I look at games. I'll look at current gen games. I'll look at PS4 games and I'll see their prices. And I'll go into GameStop and I'll find that same game for $5 to $20 cheaper most of the time than I will at that local game store. And people they got blinders on and they don't see it. They don't want to see it because GameStop evil. GameStop gives you low money for your games. I brought games into retro stores before too. I've priced things out. I have my prices already listed out from what GameStop would pay you. And I've gone to a local store. Guess what? Wasn't much of a difference. They gave me a little bit more. But all their games cost more too. So you gotta kind of, again, you gotta take the bad with the good. And GameStop is a thing we need if we still want physical gaming. Unless somebody else is gonna rise up and they're gonna create their own gaming chain. But I just don't see that happening, especially not now. So that's just my opinion on it. I mean, this thing with the CEO, I mean, that's a tall task for him to be able to do, to raise things to $100 billion worth from 11 billion. I don't see that happening. But the fact that they just closed almost 500 stores, it might give a little bit more change to that value. Not $89 billion. I just don't see it happening. So, I mean, good luck to him, man, if he can pull it off. But I I just don't see it happening. But I mean, that's kind of my thing on GameStop. I hear it all the time how, I'm just a boomer. I'm just this. I'm looking at nostalgia, whatever. You know how expensive retro games are now? Tell it to all the people that buy retro games. There is a big market for them right now, and there's a lot of scummy people who are taking advantage of it. It's not just GameStop. And you know what? The reality is, if you look at local shops' prices and you look at GameStop's prices, at the end of the day, 7 out of 10 times, that horrible GameStop is going to have better prices. Just my 2 cents on it. Just my 2 cents. But I definitely would love to see, what everyone else is gonna jump in and think, man, because it's crazy. I'm trying to find the other article here. I agree. Well said. I appreciate it, man. I know you're at work right now, but hey, I appreciate you chiming in. It's one of those things that I say it a lot on my channel. I say it a lot on my gaming streams. I think that GameStop is a necessary evil. And we're going to miss them when they're gone. And if they do go away, it is going to mark the end of an era, because there is nothing left after that. If I was running GameStop, this is just my opinion, here's what I would do. Start doing something like that horrible ass company Limited Run Games does. And start being the sole publisher of certain physical games. Digital only game, something like Dispatch. Popular as hell. GameStop exclusive physical copies. They would sell out. You would sell every freaking copy. Look at Limited Run Games. I hate that company with a passion, but what they're doing is something we need as physical game collectors, as people who want to have their gaming content just last, for preservation's sake. Having physical copies does that. And if GameStop was smart, they would take some of that money that they saved by closing all these stores, and they would invest it into throwing out some offers with some of these digital only companies. Okay, well, we have this game out, but it's digital only. Well, how much would you like for us to buy, 10,000 copies of that game from you? GameStop prints it, GameStop distributes it, GameStop exclusive. Then it will give people a reason to go to your store, other than, the common things like Funko Pops and whatever other crap. But if you become not only the retailer, but an exclusive retailer of certain physical games, that's gonna be a good boost for you. And I just don't see why nobody has thought of that yet, and nobody has pushed that idea forward yet. They did it for a while. They had exclusive rights to one of the Marvel vs. Capcom re-releases, I believe, and it sold out. So I don't know why they don't do it more often. Maybe they just don't think it's profitable. But I think if they were to go the LRG route and they were to publish these physical games for these companies exclusively to GameStop, it would be a good boon for their company. But just my thoughts on the matter. Again, old man shouting out clouds. I get it. But those are just my 2 cents on the whole GameStop thing, and just, some of the details I've been told from other, employees, current and now prior employees. So it's a little interesting. So I feel like there's, there's a little bit more to why they close so many of these stores than others. There were some that were low performers, but there were some that it was definitely a rent reason. So there's definitely some more stuff that should maybe get brought to light. So we'll see if it does over the course of, the next few months. But that was really all I wanted to talk about with GameStop. I wanted to obviously get some of that out of the way. But the other thing I wanted to touch on really, really quick, we're going to talk about that before I end things for today. I wanted to talk really quick about a game that I've been really, really excited for. And that is Code Vein 2. I was very, very excited about Code Vein 2. That was actually my most look forward to game at the beginning of this year. And, it's wild because we did some things to where we've censored the game now. And you guys know me, I'm not a fan of censorship, okay? I hate it. I will import a game from another region to avoid censorship a lot of the times. But I think the disappointing thing about this, and now I have not played Code Vein 2 yet, I did do the character creator, and I did see some of the goonish aspects of the game were toned down. And I can see it 100% based off of, and I can see why based off of the cover art itself, right? So I'll bring up the image here. I'm going to bring this one up here in another window. So it's very interesting, and people keep talking about it. They kind of toned down the size of the chests and the booties, and they did things like censoring the panties on the women and stuff like that. So whereas in the previous games, obviously it was very Nier and Stellar Blade-ish where you could, catch a peek up skirt and thing like that. Okay, sure, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not gonna call it the end of the world over that, right? But it is strange that they did decide to do this, and I'm gonna go and bring up these things really quick. So now, Code Vein 2, you can see here, this is the box art for it, has a teen rating. So they dropped the ESRB score down to a teen rating. Now, Code Vein 1 was mature, 17 up. So, my theory as to why we've censored this game is to broaden your audience, right? But here's the problem with that. If you go from a game that is niche, right? We called this anime, me and my friend used to call it anime titty souls, right? It's basically a Souls-like game with waifus and anime themes, right? I loved Code Vein. I absolutely adored this game. And to take that and to tone it down for a teen rating on a game that, are you sure it's going to bring more people in to this franchise by censoring things that made the game stand out from the others in this genre previously? I don't know if that's really the best idea. And when I started seeing this stuff come out and people talking about the censorship, I actually canceled my pre-order for the game. I went in and I checked out the character creator, and I did notice a lot of things. It goes with the cringy body type A, body type B. Like it's male body and female body. Like, come on, where are we doing? But they went and did that, and every company's doing that now. God, even Nintendo does it now. So whatever. That is what it is. It's not the end of the world for me. But I did notice the things like the sliders for female characters and things like that were definitely gimped. The costumes were definitely changed. And I see that a lot. People posting about it, obviously, that there has been a very big difference in even pre-existing characters' costumes and the way they looked. To where now it just did the black shadow kind of line going across a character. Like, where it is very, very strange as to why they would do that. But then there's other characters. I mean, let me open this one up real quick. There's other characters, like this one I'm going to show you in a second. Then there's this. So it's like, it blows my mind why we would censor some weird stuff, but then we would have this still go and be fine. So it's definitely it's confusing to me. And it's something that they do a lot of times where, again, it's kind of slowly pulling things, right? So we're going to do it slowly. We're not going to pull everything away at once, but we're going to start pulling things out slowly. And we're going to start changing things slowly, and maybe people won't notice it. But this is the internet. And once one person catches that, one dude checking the game out goes, wait a minute, I can't see panties anymore. It's over. It's all over the net. And it's going to snowball, and it's going to create a bad look for you. It doesn't have to be saying panties are blocked. No, all it has to say is censored. And that word right there is going to push a bunch of customers and potential customers away. It is something you do not want people talking about your game for. You don't want that. Could you imagine if tomorrow an article came out and it was Marvel Rivals censors new characters? You would watch that player base tank. Because it's that word, people do not want to see that word affiliated with your game. And as a game studio, you do not want to see that either. You don't want articles popping up. You don't want Twitter threads popping up. You do not want that. It is a death sentence to your game. And it's unfortunate because a lot of really good games have had that happen. And it is something that, as I just said, deterred me from keeping my pre-order with the game because I wanted to know exactly what was going on. I'm not going to support a game that goes and neuters itself, essentially. But, I mean, after seeing some of the character designs, I don't know, like, they changed some stuff, and then they left some other stuff. So, it's a crapshoot. I'm definitely going to go, and I'm going to look into some things myself, and kind of deep dive a little bit more into it. But I was kind of curious as to what people have thought, because a lot of people that have been coming into my game streams, we talk about that game a lot. I've been telling people it's my most anticipated game for the first almost half of the year. I'm more excited for it than I am for Resident Evil. So it's kind of a kick in the nuts to me that the game I've been looking forward to the most for this year, beginning of this year, might not be what I wanted it to be. So, I looked into it, and I looked into if there were different versions I could buy. Could I import it from Japan? No. The censorship that is done in the game is everyone got the same censorship. So it is worldwide. So all the changes that were made were to do just what I showed, to lower those rating scores down to a level where they could sell it at a T for teen rather than a mature. And I don't know if someone up at Bandai Namco said, oh, maybe Code Vein didn't sell, millions and millions of copies because of the rating. Let's see. I'm going to look it up right now. Code Vein 1 sales. Let's see. So it says Code Vein surpassed 4 million units sold as of June of 2025. So by March of 2023, it sold 3 million. So, I mean, it hit over 1 million in its first 5 months of release. So it's not the best selling game ever, but those are pretty solid numbers for a new IP that is a very niche thing. Because back then, you got to think, back when this game came out, Souls-likes were not what they are now, where every game is a Souls-like. It was a different take. So I don't know if some geniuses at Bandai Namco said, well, if we lowered the ESRB rating on it and we made it more available to everybody, we might sell more units. I just don't know why you would do that, because then you're going to alienate your existing audience. So let's see. I'm going to look here. Let's see. Has it had any good? I'm looking to see if there's any charts right now that are showing sales of Code Vein 2 right now. Let's see. So we have not really shown any info on the US. It does say that there's been around 90,000 copies sold on Steam. So it says currently it's projected to have lower initial adoption than the first game. And that's already a bad sign. So if your first game that didn't do well enough is outperforming your newer version that is for a wider market, maybe that's going to show you that you don't change what worked to your niche audience, So I don't know. It's tricky to gauge. I'm gonna keep my eye on it, and we're gonna touch back on it next week and see if after its first week and a half or so it has improved. I know the collector's edition of Code Vein 2 sold out, but that's most collector editions, so that's not a surprise. But it is very interesting to see, and I'm gonna be. I'm going to keep track of this, and I'm going to keep looking at it and seeing what their sales numbers are looking like. But right now they're saying it's in the last, 6 days, 5 days, that it's not doing as well as the first game. So we'll see if censoring the game is a gamble that pays off. But I don't know, man. It turned me away, but I got to see if people convince me otherwise. I will be buying it this week as soon as I finish Avatar. So those topics aside, we're going to go and we're going to get ready to close out the stream. I want to go usually an hour to 2 hours with these, and, till they kind of see how things go. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to give a couple of page updates before I end the stream. So those of you guys, of course, know I do game streams, usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This week, I'm going to do Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm going to probably skip Wednesday because, obviously, I started doing this stream. So we're going to start doing these streams every week, and 3, possibly 4 game streams, depending on how things are going. So I will be streaming Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Going to be doing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, trying to beat that game. And if I do finish it, I'm either going to get talked into buying Code Vein 2, or we're going to start up something new. If I do stream on Wednesday, it's going to be something just kind of casual, probably Dead or Alive volleyball, just kind of seeing some girls in bikinis playing volleyball in this cold ass frigid weather. So just something kind of fun, playful, we just have fun chatting while I'm playing volleyball. So it's a good time. But that's pretty much it for those. As far as everything else, I do have my December, January haul video that I'm going to be shooting up this week, and it's going to go live. I'm shooting for Wednesday, and it's going to obviously, include a lot of these guys I showed today, like the Don Coogis and the Chainsaw Man Coogie stuff, as well as all the other stuff that I got kind of over the holiday and New Year period. So, in addition to the stuff that I did for short form. So I made a short of all the physical media that I got over the holiday and New Year's season already. And unfortunately, there are too many figures to make a short for. So we're going to make a long form video. And then I also have another massive Big Bad Toy Store pile of loot that shipped with about, I want to say 30 items. So we're going to have another episode of What's in the Box. I'm going to probably save that for next week. And I'm going to try to do a prize figure face-off episode this week on Friday as well. And I've been uploading my videos and having them go live at about 5:15 p.m. Eastern. So I'm trying to play with the times a little bit, see if I want to change those. But should be back to business as usual here on the channel. We're going to have our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday shorts going back now that things are settled. And this has been fun. And it is a learning process for me. So I do appreciate the few people that turned out and chatted. It kept things interesting today. Again, bear with me. This is new. And, it's been fun. It's definitely been more fun than the pain in the ass that has been recording a weekly roundup video, editing the weekly roundup video, doing all the crazy stuff for it, and then posting it and having it do 10 views. So I think doing a live stream segment is a lot more fun. I like engaging with all you guys, and hopefully we can continue to grow this into something else, something a little bit bigger. I have reached out to a couple of other content creators about coming on and being guests on the show, so we can actually do some stuff where we have panel members and things like that. So that's something going down the line we're going to be getting into. But again, I just want to make sure we get the footing done and kind of lay out the groundwork for what this show is going to be. So all in all, I think it went all right, other than the hiccups I had at the start of the stream. So that's going to be it for today. Make sure to look for the video. I'm going to be doing this week as well. My package from Dubby Energy. I did get a creator bundle from them, an influencer bundle. So I'm going to be opening it up, checking it out, trying it, seeing if I like it. And if I do, we're going to be posting my code and things like that. I have a discount code, all kinds of stuff. So I'll be sharing all of that as well. But until I open this up today and film that, we're not going to share any of that stuff yet. So next week we'll be maybe sharing some discount codes and things like that. So stay tuned for that. But that's going to be it for episode 1 of the Caffeinated Collector. And I sure as hell am caffeinated, so hopefully you guys are too. Hopefully you guys had a good morning or good afternoon wherever you are. And if you guys are, of course, watching the stream live, watching this on the VOD afterwards, do me a solid, click the like, the subscribe, the share, spread the nerdiness, as I say in all my videos. I have a whole list of socials down in the descriptions below, and that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys again so much for checking it out, bearing with me, and again, if you have any suggestions, drop me a line because I am open to them all. But until next time, guys, I will see you all later. Bye, everyone.